Today we will going to start with the head and neck, and first topic of head and neck is the scalp. So the term scalp is applied to the soft tissue that covers the vault of the skull. So what is the vault of the skull? This is the vault of the skull. You can see. So the soft tissue which covers this vault of the skull is known as the scalp. So if we see the its boundaries, it extends anteriorly up to the eyebrows, that is the superciliary arch. These are the superciliary arch. These are the superciliary arch, that is the eyebrows, and the bony margin are the superciliary arch, this one. So these are the superciliary arch. It is the anterior extension of the scalp, and posteriorly it goes up to the superior knuckle lines. This is the superior knuckle lines. This is external occipital protuberance, that is the bony prominence posteriorly, and the lines arising from it, it is known as the superior knuckle lines. So anteriorly it extends up to superciliary arch, posteriorly up to the superior knuckle lines, and laterally up to the side of superior temporal line. These are the superior temporal line. So here you can see these are the superior temporal line, this line. So this is superior temporal line. Okay, so anteriorly it extends up to superciliary arch, posteriorly superior knuckle lines. This is the superior knuckle lines, and laterally up to superior temporal line. Sometimes some authorities say that scalp extends laterally on each side up to the zygomatic arch. So this is the zygomatic arch. This is the zygomatic arch. Some books write that the lateral boundary is up to the zygomatic arch, but some says it is up to the superior temporal line only. So we will see the term. I told you scalp is the soft tissue that covers the. So it is the soft tissue that covers the scalp. Anteriorly it extends up to the superciliary arch, posteriorly superior knuckle line, and laterally superior temporal line. So this is the soft tissue covering the scalp. Now we will see the various layers of the scalp. It consists of the 5 layers. From superficial to deep, we can say, first of all, we have the skin. Then we have the connective tissue, that is known as the superficial fascia. Then we have the aponeurotic layer. That aponeurotic layer consists of the 2 bellies of occipitofrontalis muscle, and between them are the aponeurosis. And then we have the loose areolar tissue. Then we have the pericranium. You can remember this the layers of the scalp by easily remembering a perfect mnemonic, that is itself a scalp. S for skin, okay, C for connective tissue, A for aponeurosis, L for loose areolar tissue, and P for pericranium. So first letter of each word, if you join, it forms a scalp. SCALP. So you can remember the layers of the scalp by using this mnemonic. So first of all, we will see the skin. The skin of the scalp is thick and is hairy except over the forehead, and it is firmly adherent to the apocranial aponeurosis. This is the apocranial aponeurosis, that is the 3rd layer of the scalp, and the skin is adherent, very much adherent to this layer with the help of this connective tissue layer. Like in the soles and palm, आपने पढ़ा होगा palm and soles में, हम तब भी आपको बोला था, the skin is connected to the underlying aponeurosis with the help of connective tissue. And same is in the case of scalp. The skin is very much adherent to this apocranial aponeurosis with the help of this dense connective tissue, that is the superficial fascia. So as you know, because of the hairy, it contains the maximum number of hair follicles. Because of the maximum number of hair follicles, so we have the maximum number of sebaceous gland associated with it. As you know, if the sebaceous gland is numerous, so the chances of having the sebaceous cyst is more. It also contains numerous sweat glands. The second layer is the layer of the connective tissue. Yeah, or we can say the superficial fascia. The superficial fascia of the scalp is made up of the dense fibrous connective tissue that firmly adheres the skin, overlying skin, with the epicranial aponeurosis. The fibrous septas, here you can say the fibrous septas arises and it divides this layer into the small pockets. Here you can say these small pockets, small locules, या हम कह सकते हैं, due to the fibrous tissue. The fibrous tissue forms a bands-like structure and divides this layer into the small pockets. And these small pockets contains the fat, it contains the blood vessel and the nerve. So, and these nerve vessel enters it from the below at the periphery. Here it is very important to note that the walls of the vessel is adherent to the walls of the septa. So what it means? If the wall of this blood vessel is adherent to the septa, in case of injury or the cut of the vessels, it doesn't collapse. क्योंकि ये इसके साथ बंद है ना, ये कोलैप्स नहीं हो पाता. If it doesn't collapse, तो ब्लीडिंग क्या हो जाएगी? प्रोफ्यूज हो जाएगी. अगर ये इसके साथ नहीं होता तो ये आराम से कोलैप्स हो जाती है और ब्लीडिंग रुक जाती. लेकिन यहाँ पे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज यही नोट करने का है कि इसमें जो ब्लड वेसल्स है दैट इज एडहेरेंट टू द fibrous tissue. That is why they don't collapse during the injury, and due to this the bleeding from the scalp is profuse. But because of the profusion we can stop the bleeding by pressuring the blood vessel against the vault. तो वॉल्ट के अगेंस्ट आप जब प्रेशर करते हो किसी चीज को, क्योंकि हार्ड स्ट्रक्चर है नीचे वॉल्ट, जब हम प्रेशर करेंगे तो ब्लीडिंग रुक सकती है. Then we have the next layer, that is the aponeurosis. This layer is formed by the occipitofrontalis muscle. Here we have the occipitofrontalis muscle. Why it is known as occipitofrontalis muscle? Because it consists of the bellies behind by occipital bellies and frontal by the frontal bellies. So between the two bellies we have the layer that is the aponeurosis. ठीक है, तो ये आगे को बेली है, दो फ्रंटल, पीछे ऑक्सीपिटल है, और बीच में जो रहती है बिटवीन द टू मसल, इट हैज अ ब्रॉड लिगामेंट दैट इज नोन एज द एपोन्यूरोसिस. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द लेयर फॉर्म्ड बाय द एपोन्यूरोसिस ऑफ occipitofrontalis muscle. Itself, now we will see the occipitofrontalis muscle. It consists of the small four bellies, two in front and two posterior. The frontal bellies are known as the front one, the anterior one is known as the frontal bellies, and since these two bellies are wider and it is medially attached to each other. And the posteriorly we have the posterior two bellies, they are widely separated to each other. Here you can see this, you can note here that this aponeurosis is also known as epicranial aponeurosis or Galea aponeurotica. Okay, so Galea aponeurotica, epicranial aponeurosis or aponeurosis of the occipitofrontalis muscle is the one name. It is also to be noted here, the wounds of the scalp do not gap unless the epicranial aponeurosis is cut transversely. तो जब तक यहाँ ऐसे ये ट्रांसवर्सली कट नहीं होता ना, तब तक स्कैल्प में वुंड जो है वो आपको दिखेगा नहीं. अगर क्योंकि ऐसे होगा तो ये, क्योंकि इट इज अंडर द टेंशन. सो द वुंड ऑफ द स्कैल्प डू नॉट गेप until and unless the epicranial aponeurosis is cut transversely, because the aponeurosis is under tension in the anterior posterior direction by the tone of the two bellies, frontal bellies and posteriorly the occipital bellies. क्योंकि इसमें बहुत टेंशन होता है जिसकी वजह से ये गैप नहीं दिखाएगी. ठीक है, देन वी हैव द another layer, that is the loose areolar tissue. As it indicates, this layer is made up of the loose areolar tissue, and it serves as the loose areolar tissue, and it serves as a natural plane of cleavage during the craniotomy. This layer is traversed by the emissary vein. So these are the emissary vein. This layer is very important, I will tell you later on. So it transmits the emissary vein. What are emissary veins? These are the veins that connects the external veins, that is the veins in the connective tissue, to the superior sagittal sinus or any sinus of the head cranium. So it is the very important layer because it traverses the emissary vein, connecting the veins in the second layer of the scalp with the intracranial dural venous sinuses. Now we have the fifth layer. The fifth layer is the pericranium itself. The pericranium is formed by the periosteum of the bone of the vault. ये जो vault है हमारा, उसके ऊपर जो covering होती है, अपनी bone की covering होती है, जिसको हम periosteum कहते हैं. तो यहाँ पे हम उसका नाम देते हैं pericranium. It is loosely attached to the bone and can be easily stripped. ठीक है, तो ये हम आराम से उठा सकते हैं. But except at the sutures. At the sutures, they are firmly attached to the sutural membrane. Even it goes in turn into the एंडोक्रेनियम. एंडोक्रेनियम इज द इंटरनल लेयर ऑफ द बोन. ठीक है, तो ये इवन थ्रू द सूचर जाके एंडोक्रेनियम के साथ कनेक्ट हो जाती है. सो एट द सूचर दे आर फर्मली adherent, but at the rest of the places they are loosely attached. Now we will see the further. Now you have to remember the layers of the skin. Scalp, the outermost is skin. Skin has abundant hair, sebaceous gland and sweat glands. We have the connective tissue layer. The connective tissue layer is divisible into the various locules or small pockets that contains the blood vessel and nerves. The walls of the blood vessels are attached to the fibrous connective tissue, and it firmly connects the skin with the underlying aponeurosis. Then third layer we have the aponeurosis, which is also known as the epicranial aponeurosis or Galea aponeurotica, and it is the aponeurosis of the occipitofrontalis muscle. Then we have the loose areolar tissue. Loose areolar tissue contains the emissary vein, which connects the veins of the second layer to the intracranial dural sinuses. Then we have the pericranium, which is actually the periosteum of the bone. It is loosely attached to the bone except at the suture. Now we will see the occipitofrontalis muscle again. So I told you it consists of the two bellies, the anteriorly frontal belly and posteriorly occipital belly. The frontal belly arises from the skin and the subcutaneous tissue. Okay. So here you can see this is the frontalis muscle. It arises from the skin and the subcutaneous tissue. It means it doesn't have any bony attachment. Okay. So they have no bony attachment of their own. The deeper fibers of belly merges with the proxerius, corrugator, superciliary and orbicularis oculi muscle. So these are the muscles of the face. Orbicularis oculi is the muscle of the eyelid. We have the procerus, these are the muscle of the face. So deeper fibers of this muscle is attached to the muscle itself, and the upper one is attached to the skin and the superficial fascia, and it doesn't have any bony attachment. Okay. So the frontal bellies are longer and wider. So they are longer and wider. They are longer and wider as compared to the occipital belly. Okay, and are united partly along their medial borders. They are partly connected along their medial borders. The occipital bellies are formed from the lateral 2/3 of the superior knuckle lines. So it has a bony attachment and extends forward to be inserted on the epicranial aponeurosis. The two occipital bellies are small and are separated from each other. Okay, so they are smaller in size and they are separated from each other by a considerable gap, and this gap is filled by epicranial aponeurosis. So the nerve supply of this occipital belly, on each side it is supplied the posterior auricular branch of the facial nerve, whereas the frontal belly is supplied by the temporal branch of the facial nerve. ठीक है, तो facial nerve ही इसको nerve supply करती है, posterior को posterior auricular करती है और anterior को temporal branch करती है. So what are the action of these muscles? Alternate contraction of frontal and occipital bellies moves the scalp forward and backward over the vault of the skull. Acting from above, the contraction of frontal bellies raises the eyebrows as a surprise. जो expression हम surprise का बनाते हैं ना, तो जो surprise होता है उसको help करने में हमें यही muscle frontal belly करती है. And acting from below. The contraction of frontal belly produce the transverse wrinkles on the forehead. जो forehead wrinkles बनती है वो भी frontal belly की contraction से होती है. तो frontal belly की contraction से हमें दो expressions होते हैं. So it is helpful in the two expressions of the face, that is the surprise and the fright, and forms the transverse wrinkles and raises the eyebrows. Okay. Now we will see the clinical relation of the scalp. The first of all, we have to see the first three layers of the scalp, that is the skin, connective tissue, and aponeurosis. These three layers are firmly adherent to each other and they cannot be separated from each other. These three layers are togetherly known as the surgical layer of the scalp, or it forms the scalp proper. Okay. So these three layers, skin, connective tissue, and aponeurosis, they cannot be separated from each other, and they are known as the scalp proper or surgical layer of the scalp. The layer of loose areolar tissue beneath the aponeurotic layer accounts for the free mobility of the scalp. क्योंकि इन तीनों के नीचे यहाँ पे लूज एरियोलर टिश्यू है, और इसलिए हम स्कैल्प को इजिली मूव कर सकते हैं ओवर दिस लूज एरियोलर टिश्यू. And it also provides the plane for the cleavage in injury and the plane in which blood from severed blood vessels can spread from a long distance. So in case sometimes what happens, the hair is caught in the machinery, the scalp proper is evulsed. तो evulsed होता है पूरा ये तीनों लेयर उठ जाती है. इन केस कभी बाल जो किसी मशीन में फंस जाते हैं ना, तो ये स्कैल्प प्रॉपर उठ जाता है, तो लूज एरियोलर टिश्यू वहीं पे रह जाता है. दैट इज द स्कैल्प, दैट इज व्हाई इट इज नोन एज द स्कैल्प प्रॉपर. ठीक है. सो द अनदर वन इज द black eye. So this is the black eye, or it is also known as the raccoon's eye. Why it is known as the black eye? In case of the injury of the head, in case it produces the blood can go easily through the tract forward into the eyelid, because the frontalis muscle doesn't have the bony origin. It arises from the skin and the superficial fascia, so it doesn't have the bony origin. In case of the trauma, the blood accumulates in the loose areolar tissue usually, because the three layers are adherent to each other, and the blood accumulates in the loose areolar tissue. It goes forward and gets collected around the eye, because the frontalis muscle doesn't have bony origin. It goes to the skin and the superficial fascia, so it is loose, so the blood can easily go and gets accumulated around the eye, and it gives discoloration of the skin, black discoloration of the skin around the eye. That is why it is known as the black eye. So another is the dangerous area of the scalp. The layer of the loose areolar tissue is called the dangerous area of the scalp. क्यों कहते हैं इसको dangerous area of the scalp? अभी मैंने आपको बताया, this layer transmits the emissary vein, और emissary vein क्या होती है? Which connects the outer veins into the venous dural venous sinuses. So if the pus collects in this layer, the infection may travel readily through these emissary vein into the intracranial dural venous sinuses and can lead to the thrombosis, which may be fatal. So these emissary veins can transmit the thrombosis from outer to the inner, and which may be the fatal. The other one is the cephalohematoma. Cephalohematoma or caput scandum. It is the safety valve hematoma. In case of the fracture of the cranial vault in children, it may be associated with the tearing of the dura mater and the pericranium. In such cases, the blood from the intracranial hemorrhage communicates with the subaponeurotic space of the scalp through the fracture lines, and thus the sign of cerebral compression do not develop until the subaponeurotic space is fully filled with the blood. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Like हमने अभी बताया था, लूज एरियोलर टिश्यू जो लेयर होती है, that is the dangerous layer of the scalp. But at the same time, it has the safety valve mechanism. मतलब क्या है? क्योंकि इसमें अगर ब्लड कलेक्ट भी हो जाता है, it doesn't compress, क्योंकि ये लूज है, तो जो ब्लड हेमाटोमा या पस है वो स्प्रेड हो जाता है, तो स्प्रेड की होने की वजह से ये ब्रेन को कंप्रेस नहीं करता है, तो इसमें एक सेफ्टी वैल्यू मैकेनिज्म भी है. एट द सेम टाइम ये डेंजरस भी है। डेंजरस क्यों है? क्योंकि उसमें मिशरी वेन है। अब एट द सेम टाइम इट इज हैविंग द सेफ्टी वैल्यू मैकेनिज्म, क्योंकि इन केस खासकर बच्चों में जब कभी हेमाटोमा हो जाता है ड्यूरिंग द चाइल्ड बर्थ, तो जो उसको हम कापुट सेकेंडम कहते हैं, तो ब्लड जो हेमाटोमा होता है वो स्प्रेड हो जाता है एंड इट क्या हो जाता है, उसकी वजह से जो ब्रेन जो है वो कंप्रेस नहीं हो जाता है। ठीक है। अनदर वन वी हैव द केफेलोहेमाटोमा। इट इज द सब पेरियोस्टियल कलेक्शन ऑफ द ब्लड। तो पेरियोस्टम के नीचे जो ब्लड कलेक्ट हो जाता है उसको हम कहते हैं केफेलोहेमाटोमा। एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट पेरियोस्टियम इज लूजली कनेक्टेड टू द बोन, सो इट ऑल्सो स्प्रेड्स along the bone। तो जैसे बोन की शेप होगी ना वैसे स्प्रेड होगा, बट ये सूचर को क्रॉस नहीं करेगा क्योंकि सूचर पे ये एडहेरेंट होता है। तो जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल पैराइटल बोन पे हेमाटोमा बन जाएगा तो ये पूरी पैराइटल बोन का शेप लेगी, लेकिन ये दूसरी पैराइटल बोन या ऑक्सीपिटल बोन या दूसरी बोन को क्रॉस नहीं करेगी क्योंकि पेरियोस्टियम सूचर लाइंस पे एडहेरेंट होता है। तो इट एज्यूम्स द शेप ऑफ द रिलेटेड बोन एज and it has well defined edge। okay, समझ आया? ठीक है। तो हमारा दूसरा है कार्पस सेकेंडम। मैंने आपको बताया that is a subcutaneous edema over the present part of the head during the delivery। it takes place during the passage of head through the birth canal due to interference of the venous return। it is common trauma during the birth and it usually subsides at its own। Now we will see the nerve supply of the scalp। The scalp has 10 nerves on each side। तो यहाँ से 10 nerves है और यहाँ से भी 10 nerves है। ठीक है। So we further divide these 10 nerves, 5 front of the auricle that is ear and 5 behind the auricle। इसमें से 5 में से 4 सेंसरी है, 1 मोटर है। ठीक है। तो हमने कैसे नर्व्स को डिवाइड किया? 10 ऑन ईच साइड, 10 ऑन लेफ्ट साइड, 10 ऑन राइट साइड, एंड फर्दर दीज 10 आर डिवाइडेड इनटू द 5 इन फ्रंट ऑफ द ईयर, 5 बिहाइंड द ईयर। ठीक है। और 5 में से 4 जो सेंसरी है और 1 मोटर है। अब देखेंगे पहले सेंसरी इन फ्रंट ऑफ द ऑरिकल सेंसरी कौन सी है। सबसे पहले तो हमारी है सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर। तो सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर यहां से सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर अराइजेस होती है ऐसे, दिस इज द सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर नॉच। ठीक है। तो सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर अराइजेस होती है, वो निकलती दैट इज द ब्रांच ऑफ द ऑप्थेल्मिक डिवीजन ऑफ द ट्राइजेमिनल नर्व। सो ऑप्थेल्मिक डिवीजन तो आई में होगा, ऑप्था मीन्स आई, तो वहां से जो निकलती है ट्राइजेमिनल नर्व निकलती है, उसकी एक ब्रांच होती है जो यहाँ से निकलती है सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर नॉच से। दिस इज अ सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर नॉच। तो यहाँ से निकल के वो फ्रंट ऑफ द स्कैल्प अप टू द फोरहेड स्कैल्प को देती है। ठीक है। Then another is the supraorbital branch of that is also the branch of the frontal nerve, that is the ophthalmic division of the trigeminal nerve। So trigeminal nerve की ही ब्रांच सप्लाई करती है हमारे स्कैल्प को। तो एक तो पहले सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर थी, उसके बाद सुप्राऑर्बिटल है, देन वी हैव द ज़ाइगोमेटिकोटेम्पोरल ब्रांच। यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर थी पहले, सुप्राऑर्बिटल थी, ज़ाइगोमेटिकोटेम्पोरल ब्रांच। ज़ाइगोमेटिकोटेम्पोरल ब्रांच साइड में देती है। ठीक है। That is also the branch, that is the branch of the maxillary division, which is itself the branch of the trigeminal nerve। Then we have the auriculotemporal branch, that is the branch of the mandibular division of the temporal nerve। ठीक है। तो हमने आगे से सुप्राट्रॉक्लियर, फिर सुप्राऑर्बिटल, फिर ज़ाइगोमेटिकोटेम्पोरल, फिर हमारी होगी auriculotemporal nerve। ठीक है। That is then we have the motor branch which is the temporal branch of the facial nerve। सो सेंसरी हो गई 4 और 1 मोटर हो गई टेम्पोरल ब्रांच ऑफ द फेशियल नर्व। नाउ वी विल सी बिहाइंड द ऑरिकल। बिहाइंड द ऑरिकल वी हैव द फर्स्ट इज द पोस्टीरियर डिवीजन ऑफ द ग्रेटर ऑरिकुलर नर्व। ऑरिकल के आगे जो ब्रांच थी वो हमारी टेम्पोरल नर्व की ब्रांच थी, सॉरी ट्राइजेमिनल नर्व की जो ब्रांचेस थी। अब ऑरिकल के पीछे जो आती है वो पहले आती है ग्रेटर ऑरिकुलर नर्व, दीज आर द ब्रांचेस ऑफ द सर्वाइकल प्लेक्सस। ठीक है। फिर लेसर ऑक्सीपिटल नर्व, फिर आएगी ग्रेटर ऑक्सीपिटल नर्व एंड थर्ड ऑक्सीपिटल नर्व, दीज आर द सेंसरी नर्व एंड मोटर वी हैव द पोस्टीरियर ऑरिकुलर नर्व, दैट इज अ ब्रांच ऑफ द फेशियल नर्व। ठीक है। तो हमारी जो आगे जो कान के आगे सारी ब्रांचेस थी सेंसरी, सेंसरी 3 ट्राइजेमिनल की ब्रांचेस, और कान के पीछे जो है दैट इज द ब्रांचेस फ्रॉम द सर्वाइकल प्लेक्सस, दैट इज द ग्रेटर ऑरिकुलर, lesser occipital, third occipital, and we have the motor is the posterior auricular branch of the facial nerve. ठीक है, आगे कौन थी? That is the temporal branch of the facial nerve. So likewise, nerves, we have also the arteries of the scalp. The scalp has very rich blood supply. On each side of the midline, it is supplied by the 5 arteries, 3 in front and 2 behind. तो ऐसे ही जैसे हमने नर्व्स बताया था वैसे ही हमारी आर्टरीज है. वी हैव 5 आर्टरीज, 3 is in front of the auricle, 1, 2 and 3, and 2 are behind the auricle, 1 and 2. So first of all we have the supratrochlear artery. Like we have supratrochlear nerve, we have the supratrochlear artery. It enters the scalp around the supraorbital margin. वो आपको मैंने अभी दिखाया supratrochlear नॉच क्या है. वहीं से नर्व भी निकलती है, वहीं से आर्टरी भी निकलती है. Then we have the supraorbital artery that also enters through the supraorbital notch. ठीक है, उसके थोड़े lateral होती है. Then we have the superficial temporal artery. This is the superficial temporal artery. This is supratrochlear, supraorbital. Then we have the superficial temporal artery, which is a branch of the external carotid artery. ठीक है. Then we have the behind the ear we have the posterior auricular artery. Posterior auricular artery is a branch of the external carotid artery also. Then we have the occipital artery. ठीक है, behind the occipital artery is also the branch of the external carotid artery that arises from the neck itself. So we have the 5 arteries, that is supratrochlear, supraorbital, superficial temporal artery, posterior auricular artery and occipital artery. These arteries, the first 2 arteries are the branches of the ophthalmic artery, that is from the internal carotid artery, and the later 3 are the branches of the external carotid artery. ये जो 2 है पहले की internal carotid artery की branch है. So these 5 arteries anastomosis with each other. It means that there are the anastomosis of the external and internal carotid arteries here. Now we have the venous drainage of the venous drainage. This is the venous drainage of the scalp. It is very important. So how we will see how this venous drainage occur. We will see here first of all the supratrochlear and supraorbital nerve veins. They join to each other at the angle of the eye. When after the joining, this is known as the angular vein. The supratrochlear, supraorbital join at the angle of the eye, form the angular vein. Then the angular vein, here we can see the another vein, that is the superficial temporal vein. It descends in front of the tragus. This is the tragus of the ear. It descends in front of the tragus and enters the parotid gland, where it joins the maxillary vein. So it is joined by the maxillary vein. This is the maxillary vein. So it is joined by the maxillary vein. It runs downward in front of the ear and it is joined by the maxillary vein. After joining the maxillary vein, it forms the retromandibular vein. This is known as the retromandibular vein. ठीक है, यहाँ से हमारी एंगुलर वेन आई बाय द जॉइनिंग ऑफ सुप्राट्रोक्लियर एंड सुप्राऑर्बिटल, और यहाँ से हमारी आई रेट्रोमैंडिबुलर वेन विच इज फॉर्म्ड बाय द जॉइनिंग ऑफ मैक्सिलरी वेन एंड सुपरफिशियल टेम्पोरल वेन. ठीक है, देन इट टर्मिनेट्स दिस रेट्रोमैंडिबुलर वेन डिवाइड्स इनटू द एंटीरियर डिवीजन एंड द पोस्टीरियर डिवीजन. ठीक है, द anterior division joins with the angular vein and it is known as the common facial vein, which drains into the internal jugular vein. And the posterior division of the retromandibular vein joins with the posterior auricular vein and forms the external jugular vein, which goes into the subclavian vein. This is very important. Okay, you have to remember this. These we have other occipital veins in the posterior part of the scalp. These veins terminates into the suboccipital venous plexus, which you will learn later on. These veins of the scalp communicates with the intracranial dural venous sinus through the emissary vein, which I already told you. The veins in the infants, अगर हम बच्चों में देखें ना, these veins are easily visible, so they are the favorable sites for the intravenous infusion in case of the infants. ठीक है? Now what are the emissary veins? Emissary vein are also the important topic. These veins, I told you, it connects the veins outside the cranium with the intracranial dural venous sinuses by passing through the foramina in the cranium. ठीक है, like here you can see a foramina. Here you can see a foramina. दिख रहा है आपको? This is the foramina. This is known as, this is the parietal bone and this is known as the parietal foramina. ठीक है, इस parietal foramina से जाती है parietal emissory vein. So these veins connects the veins of the outside of the scalp to the internal dural venous sinus. जो हमारी यहाँ dural venous sinus होती है, ये connect करती है. तो ये यहाँ से open हो रही है. ठीक है, ये देखो, ये यहाँ से जाके यहाँ से ओपन हो रही है. तो इसी के थ्रू हमारी इमिश्री वेन जाती है जो कनेक्ट करती है वेन्स ऑफ द स्कैल्प, दैट इज द आउटसाइड, टू द इंटरनल ड्यूरल वेनस साइनसेस. ठीक है, सो वेन्स, इमिश्री वेन्स इन द रीजन ऑफ द स्कैल्प वी हैव ऑन ईच साइड ऑफ द मिड लाइन, दैट इज द, आई टोल्ड यू, दैट इज द पैराइटल इमिश्री वेन. इट passes through this parietal foramina and communicates with the superior sagittal sinus. We have here a superior sagittal sinus. Then we have the mastoid emissory. This is the mastoid foramen. Here you can see. This is the mastoid. This is the mastoid process. This is the mastoid process. This is the mastoid emissory, mastoid foramina. ठीक है, इस mastoid foramina से they are 1 to 2 in number. तो यहाँ से जाती है mastoid emissory vein and it passes through this mastoid foramen and communicates with the sigmoid sinus. अंदर से हमें ये sinus होता है. This is the sigmoid sinus. तो ये कनेक्ट करती है outer veins to the sigmoid sinus. ठीक है, so these are the emissory veins. The lymphatic drainage of the anterior part of the scalp, except the lower half of the forehead, it drains into the periauricular lymph nodes. The area on the side of the skull between the superior temporal line and the zygomatic arch is known as the temple. So ये हमारा zygomatic superior temporal line है. ठीक है, ये extend होता है अब वो ऐसे. So this is the area between the superior temporal line and the zygomatic arch. ठीक है, तो ये area जो हमारा सारा है, this is the temple. So the name temple is derived from the fact that the age, यानी कि जो हमारे बाल जो सफ़ेद होते हैं ना, पहले इसी एरिया में होता है. तो that is why temple मतलब टाइम. तो टेम्पस मतलब टाइम. तो क्योंकि हेयर हमारे सबसे पहले वहीं ग्रे होते हैं, that is the fact with the age. Now we will see here the layers of the temple. Likewise, we have the scalp, we have the 5 layers, but here we have the extra 1 layer, that is the 6th layer. If we go from superficial to the deep, we will see first we have the skin. ठीक है, this is the skin. Then we have the superficial fascia. Okay. Then we have the, that is the connective tissue. Then we have the extension from the epicranial aponeurosis. So extension from the epicranial aponeurosis, the skin, connective tissue, then extension from the epicranial aponeurosis. That is the extra layer in this part, in the temple. This extension from the epicranial aponeurosis, it gives origin to the auricular muscles of the ear, that is the auricularis anterior and auricularis superior. ठीक है, then we have the superficial then we have the temporal fascia and temporalis muscle. Then we have the pericranium. ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या क्या layers है? पहले skin है, superficial fascia, extension from the epicranial aponeurosis, and this extension give rise to origin to the muscles of the ear, auricularis superior and anterior. Then we have temporal fascia covering the temporalis muscle, then pericranium. ठीक है, so we can see